Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to highlight the less dangerous rhetoric that has led to 2 assassination attempts on President Trump in 2 months. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all the law enforcement officers who fearlessly prevented a second utter catastrophe from taking place this past Sunday. I'm also incredibly thankful for God's continued hand of protection over President Trump. But I'm deeply disturbed that within a 64-day span, President Trump has seen an assassin's attempt to take his life not once, but twice. After the first horrifying attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, many Americans asked for politicians and media pundits alike to turn down the temperature of their political rhetoric. Yet, given the continued targeting of President Trump's life, it's evident that many on the left haven't stopped spewing hateful speech and malicious lies. For years, we've heard rhetoric from the radical left that goes well beyond a mere policy disagreement and crosses into dangerous territory. Think about all the times liberal figures have erroneously labeled Trump as Hitler, or the biggest threat to democracy, and a dictator who must be stopped. Now we're seeing the tragic results of that false rhetoric. President Trump has faced not 1, but 2 assassination attempts. This isn't a partisan issue. This is about the safety of our leaders, the stability of our republic, and the rule of law. Yet disturbingly, we've seen numerous Democrats in the left-wing media blame these attempts on President Trump himself. This level of victim blaming isn't just ghoulish, it's a sinister attempt to normalize the senseless violence and to absolve themselves of any wrongdoing. There are still many unknowns about both of these attacks, and while I certainly have concerns and questions about the obvious security failures that have taken place, I can't silently sit by as the left, including many of my Democrat colleagues, take no accountability for their incendiary rhetoric and shameless lies that undoubtedly have played a part in inspiring the assassination attempts on President Trump. And since the liberal media won't hold them accountable, I will. Here are examples of the less violence inciting dangerous rhetoric. Quoting Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. Again, she says it's on us to recognize the threat Trump poses. Governor Tim Walz said, are Republicans a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, Trump is a threat to our democracy, the kind that we have not seen. Rep. Jasmine Crockett said, MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. Rep. Dan Goldman has said, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated. Rep. Steve Cohen said Trump is an enemy of the United States. Rep. Debbie Wasserman Schultz said Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. Rep. Adam Schiff said Trump is the gravest threat to our democracy. Rep. Gregory Meeks said Trump cannot be president again. He is an existential threat to democracy. Rep. Abigail Spanberger said Trump is a threat to our democracy. The threats to our democratic republic are real. Rep. Mike Levine said, Donald Trump is a threat to our nation, our freedom, and our democracy. Rep. Eric Sorensen said, he is the greatest threat to law and order we have in our country today. Rep. Jake Auchincloss said, what unifies us as a party is knowing that Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy. Yesterday, just 2 days after the second assassination attempt, White House Press Secretary KJP said, President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy. Seriously? She couldn't stop herself and had to join in. And let's not forget President Biden, who said, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. President Biden has also said, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation. As well, Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's literally a threat to everything America stands for. Mr. Speaker, these are just a few examples. For the last 9 years, the left has erroneously labeled Trump as a racist, a fascist, and an existential threat to our democracy. They've encouraged protests, approved of violent rhetoric, and in some cases refused to condemn violent actions. They've made it acceptable to view someone with opposing political beliefs not as a fellow American, but as an enemy to be destroyed. Bottom line, when you constantly tell people that our democracy is in existential danger because of one man, and when you label that man a threat to the very fabric of our country, then you should take some responsibility and not be surprised when unhinged individuals take matters in their own hands. Words have power, and Democrats have recklessly used that power for a nefarious political gain. No matter the cost, we as a nation must be better than this. I have 6 words for my Democratic colleagues. Stop it, and stop it now.
Thank you. The chair